Hello and welcome to episode 1.2 of DOGSO Yellow. Thanks again for those that have checked out the site, and a special thanks to those that have signed up for any level membership at this point. Our launch period will be now through the end of February. During this time, we will have a 20% off code, Launch 2023, for our national subscription. This is a full year of the detailed content that you will see today. Today's episode is another detailed review of the 2008 MLS Cup final. At the end of January, we will be locking down these detailed reviews for our regional and national level subscriptions. If you are not able to commit to a full year of the national subscription, feel free to give a try with our regional subscription, which is monthly.
One last thing I want to mention before we look into today's clip is that I will be making some adjustments here and there on the fly to try to figure out what the best approach is to getting you guys the content that I'm wanting to deliver. So today is going to be a little bit different in terms of how we're going to be displaying the videos and how we're going to be displaying the information that we have. Not terribly different, but just a little bit. Feel free to comment or send me an email and let me know what your thoughts are in terms of what looks and is working better for us here. Now, on to the clip. Going back to the 2008 MLS Cup, New York Red Bulls versus the Columbus Crew. We're going to be looking into clip number 2. So let's take a look. In this clip, we can see a counterattack started by New York's goalkeeper. The ball is played to Richards, and he attempts to get by Gino Padula of the Crew. After he pushes the ball past Gino, he is then fouled by Padula. Let's break this down a little bit and see what the call should be. We're going to start by taking a look at SPA, but we can also see that Toledo has definitely identified a caution of some sort here. And we can start talking through the considerations for stopping a promising attack. Number 21, what is the distance between the offense and the goal? Richards is close to the AR1 touchline and is about 30 yards from goal. Does the player have control of the ball? He did have control of the ball until the foul was committed. Can the player gain control of the ball? There's two ways to look at this one. First, Padula doesn't have the opportunity to get to the ball or control it. Richards, on the other hand, definitely does, after the foul's committed, have enough space to get control if he was still on his feet. Now let's take a look at where the defenders are located. It does appear that Crew have 2 additional defenders, even with or behind Richards and Padula. The thing to note here, though, is that there is really no defenders that are able to make a play on the ball for a good 10 to 15 yards. Last is number 31. How much open space is there for the attacker to move in? If you take a look at the space behind Padula, you can see that Richards will have a lot of room to either cut towards the goal or put in a good cross. That's definitely outlined by what we had talked about in number 26 with a good 10 to 15 yards of space to move into. The last thing I do want to make a comment on is an additional consideration for SPA, and that is Richards' speed. If you take a look back in 2008, Richards is probably a 9 out of 10 in terms of speed within the MLS that year. He is definitely one of the fastest players. This speed combined with the fact that Padula was a talented defender, but speed was never his top stat. Richard's speed has a lot to do with why we should consider this for stopping a promising attack. The next thing I would suggest is we look through the considerations for a careless or reckless challenge resulting in a yellow card for unsporting behavior. Number 1, does the player show a lack of consideration when making the challenge? Yes, I do believe that Padula shows a lack of consideration on this challenge. The primary purpose is to stop a promising attack. However, the contact level made after the ball has been pushed away rises more towards a reckless challenge, in my opinion. Does the player have a chance to play the ball in a fair manner? No. As Richards plays the ball past Padula, you can see that he does not have the opportunity to play the ball. Number 8, does the player touch the ball before making contact with the opponent? No. The contact with Richards is made after the ball is pushed away past Padula. On to number 12, what degree of speed and or intensity does the player use when making the challenge? If you take a look at it, the speed and intensity is not that high. Padula makes a tackle, but it is not considerably hard. Number 14, does the player lunge at the opponent from the front, from the side, or from behind? The tackle is from behind, and you can see there is a bit of a lunge there, but I'm not sure if this raises enough to the level of serious foul play. We'll discuss that in the next section. Number 16, does the player use his or her studs when making a tackle? Yes, the studs are slightly exposed. This is one of the major considerations I think causes this to rise to the level of unsporting behavior rather than stopping a promising attack. The other major factor for me is the fact that the tackle is made from behind. Number 17, on which part of the opponent's body is contact made? Padula makes contact with Richards' foot close to the outside. This challenge is very low and close to the ground. Let's go back and take a look at the clip one more time. The counterattack starts. Richards pushes it by Padula. As we're looking at this, especially in the slow-mo, let's take a look and identify if this is something that rises to the level of serious foul play. Baltimore Toledo obviously has a yellow card for either stopping a promising attack or a reckless challenge. So let's see why it's just a yellow card and there's no consideration for a red here. Number 4, does the player act with disregard for the danger of the opponent? Not really. Challenge is a little bit hard, but it doesn't really endanger Richards. Number 9, does the player exceed the necessary use of force when making the challenge? No, the force from Padula, although it is very reckless, does not really rise to the level of serious foul play. Based on all these considerations, I would suggest a yellow card for unsporting behavior for a reckless challenge. Although it definitely meets the considerations for SPA, I think there's enough in the challenge to identify it as reckless. Thanks again for watching today's episode. I wanted to give you one last reminder of a few things we have going on right now. Please sign up for a membership. We have 3 levels of memberships available. For the national or yearly membership, please use the code LAUNCH2023 for a 20% discount. If you're not willing to commit to a yearly subscription, please consider the monthly option and the regional level of membership. Number 2, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Although I'm just like you and get way too much email, this will help me make sure that I send updates to everyone that is interested. Number 3, please comment on our posts on the website, YouTube, or Facebook. The way we can continue to learn is through asking questions. If you're not comfortable posting something and have a question, feel free to reach out to me at contact@dogsoyellow.com. The last request I have is to please share this episode. Although the primary focus is for referee development, this may also be a great resource for coaches and players to learn a bit more about the thought process referees have. I've definitely sent it to a couple of coaches that I know are still active and have received some really good feedback from them. Cheers. Thanks again for watching episode 1.2 of DOGSO Yellow, and I will see you tomorrow.